15 love.
Good strong serve to the backhand of James Blake.
And that's the thing for a little guy. He actually packs a bit of pop on his serve.
That backhand swung wide, 15 all. Well, Russell last year, his first USTA Open appearance in 5 years as a qualifier, lost in the first round to Gael Monfils in 4 sets. Blake will get there. Well, he got there twice, but the spectacular didn't exactly work out.
No, and I think that's actually a shot early in the year as we look at it that James executed in a match, running back and hitting a lob between his legs for a winner. So I don't know. I wouldn't try that shot too often, though. I don't think he's going to make it too much.
But you got Michael Russell's attention. Russell with a wry smile after that one. Yeah, as an opponent, I don't think you're expecting that.
No.
30-15. A loose backhand there by Blake.
And that's one thing that I think Russell's going to try and do today is keep the ball as much as possible to the Blake backhand, especially if he can get it up on the Blake backhand. Most one-handers struggle a bit when the ball gets up on their one-handed backhand.
Russell making his second appearance at the Open as a direct entrant. He was a wild card back in '98, qualified in 2000 and 2006. And Blake gets up high for that overhead.
And that's a point I think that James is going to try and do today. Control the points with his forehand, move Mike around, understanding that he needs to try and get to the net to finish the point off. It's going to be awfully difficult for him to put balls away when both guys are at the baseline because Russell moves so well.
Russell and Blake have not met on the tour level, but they did meet 3 times on the challenger level, and Russell won all 3. It goes back to 1998 and in Austin and Knoxville in 2000. So is there anything he can take from that? Do you think 7 years later? That's a long time ago.
That is a long time, and obviously Blake is a much different player than he was back then. But still, there's still probably some things that worked back then that maybe will still work for him right now.
Advantage.
Big serve there by Russell.
And that's actually a good play there for Russell today as well. Out wide, the first serve out wide on the deuce side into Blake's forehand, opening the court up so he can get to Blake's backhand.
So you can attack James Blake's forehand if you do it correctly and then get him into his backhand.
Exactly.
Oh, risky second serve there by Russell.
Yeah, obviously a little scared. One play that Blake likes to do a lot is run around the backhand, hit the big forehand return. Obviously Russell knows that. Trying to go for the big ace up the tee on the second serve.
That forehand just long. So break point here for James Blake in the very first game against Michael Russell. You could hear James get a little bit caught up footwork-wise on that return.
Yep, Russell doing a good job there of taking a little bit off the first serve, trying to get it in up on Blake's backhand.
Advantage, Blake.
Blake keeping Russell back off that baseline, forcing another forehand unforced error.
Yeah, and that's what Russell, he really has to keep his unforced errors to a minimum today to have a chance. We have another break point for Blake.
That's just wide. Let's see. Russell's not going to challenge. Another sloppy backhand from James. And we have our 4th deuce of this first game.
It actually looks like the wind is maybe swirling around down there a little more than we thought, Mike. I think James is having a little bit of problems with that, not really moving his feet as well as he needs to get in position.
Advantage, Russell.
So Russell earns a game point. Now, your first service game and you have 4 deuces and you're struggling to hold, how much can that impact a player? It's very early, obviously, in a 5-set match.
Yeah, but still, a lot of times the tone is set from the beginning of the match, and if Mike has to work this hard for service games every time, he could be in for a long day.
Oh, that forehand ripped beautifully on a nice angle. So Michael Russell, 4 deuces, a couple of break points, and he has held.
So you see Blake just electing to chip back the return in the middle of the court. Russell steps in, a great inside-out forehand. And that's what Russell needs to try and do is use his serve to put himself in an offensive position to start off the points. If he has to hit a lot of second serve and allows James to step around and hit those big forehands, it's going to be a long day for him.
So James Blake's first serve at the US Open 2007. Backhand floats long.
And Russell doing a good job there of getting one more ball back. Blake hitting a couple big forehands, but Russell deep in the court in a defensive position, just trying to keep himself in the point.
15.
Well, Blake has had pretty good summer, as we mentioned, 33-9 on the hard courts. He's been a finalist 3 different times, and he's won 2 tournaments, so at least 5 weeks on tour. He played right to the very end. He's shown the ability, to win on this tour. He's got 10 titles. Backhand again floats wide. What separates him now, James Blake, from taking that success into the Grand Slams? He hasn't gone past the round of 16 yet, really.
Well, there's a couple of things. I think first he needs to improve his second serve.
Russell with a huge forehand.
Guys tend to, especially when things get a little tight in a match, they tend to try and pick on his second serve a fair amount. So that's one big thing that can really help him take it to that next level.
128 in the draw. You got to win 7 times to win a Grand Slam. Blake has brought a lot of excitement to the game in the last few years. I'm sure as many fans would like to see his stay here at the US Open last a couple weeks.
Oh yes, James is obviously a very popular player on tour, not only among the players but the fans.
Time Blake just overpowering Russell from the baseline.
Yeah, I think that's what James wants to try and do there. He actually, let it go, hit out on a few forehands. I think he's just a little tentative here at the start of the match. That's something normal, especially if you're playing against a good friend.
Well, Russell's won some first rounders on the hard courts this summer, on the North American Summer Hard Court season. Washington, then in Montreal and New Haven, then lost his second match at all 3 tournaments, but he's shown that he can play well in opening rounds. I would think his confidence may be at an all-time high as far as tour level tournaments.
Oh, without a doubt. And we see this as his highest ranking. Probably this year, yes, has won more matches at the tour level than he ever has before. So he's feeling pretty confident right now.
And James Blake holds his first service game, 1-all on Arthur Ashe Stadium. Sun-baked, beautiful temperature in the 80s. James, it looks like the kind of player that sort of works himself into a match.
Yes, definitely. I mean, and the thing about James is you want to try and stay even with him because he is an excellent front runner. Once he gets ahead and is able to loosen up and really start dictating points with his forehand, he can be very tough.
Once he gets some momentum, he will carry it.
Love 15.
Russell a little slow getting up to that ball. He as well looks a little tentative out there, not really moving as well as I've seen him move in the past. Both players kind of just feeling each other out right now.
It really is a feeling out process, as you mentioned. It's a new day, a new player you haven't seen, in years really, on tour, and these guys are just trying to looks to me like get used to the velocity that they're hitting things.
Yep, that is true. The other thing is, as Russell fires his first ace, another thing as well is that, these guys know each other's games so well that sometimes you start thinking, maybe too much.
Guessing,
you're like,
maybe?
well, you say like, well, he knows I usually do this, so I want to try and do something
Let
different.
me try something different.
Exactly, and that's what happens when guys practice together a lot and spend time together out on the court.
Well, one of the measures of quality play is reaching the Masters Cup, the Tennis Masters Cup, and Blake did that last year for the first time.
Yes, and they made it all the way to the finals.
Chases it down. Now no one's going to give in. And Blake.
Great point from both players. Both guys now starting to loosen up a little bit, hit out on the ball. Both guys showing off their speed.
15.
As Mike runs down that ball with a great get, and then James made the smart play this time, not going between his legs, getting the ball back in the court. Double break point for Blake now.
We had 2 breakers in the first service game by Michael Russell, and now a couple more here.
Russell doing a good job there of controlling points with his forehand, going to the Blake backhand, forcing him to come up with a passing shot. And that's the thing that James really has been working on a lot with his coach, Brian Barker, is the backhand, the down-the-line backhand. Hasn't really shown it so far today, but he has improved it a lot.
Great hustle by Blake to even get to that shot, but Russell had all kinds of court to work with, and he finishes.
And Russell's doing a good job there on both break points, taking control of the point. Again, both these guys, to be successful, need to be aggressive. When the opportunity presents itself, step up inside the court and take control of the points, preferably with their forehands.
Big backhand.
And there's that backhand down the line that I've been talking about. Again, James realized what was happening before earlier. As we look at him here, step up inside the court and commit to that down the line, staying down nicely on it. Another break point for Blake.
5th of the match, just 3 games old. And the 5th one brushed aside by Russell.
And that's the ball I'm talking about that Blake, I'm not sure which direction the wind's blowing down there, but he hits such a flat ball, that ball gets up a little bit higher. It's tough to keep that in the court, missing it just long.
Four deuces in the first game, and now a couple of more here. And finally, Blake able to put it away, but Russell saving a couple of great shots.
As we watch here, Russell making some great gets, showing off his speed, sliding on the hard courts. With Blake putting the overhead away. James moving in nicely. The overhead winner.
Another break point, 6th of the match for James Blake. He has yet to convert one.
See if Blake here runs around and tries to hit a big forehand, the second serve. Big backhand down the line by Russell. And there, I think because of earlier in the match, Russell going for that big second serve up the tee, Blake knows, well, he has that in the back of his mind, he might go for that serve, so he doesn't commit to running around and instead hits the backhand return, doesn't hit it well enough, and Russell took control of the point.
First serve.
Russell's first serve percentage, 58%. Blake going for a sharp angle backhand.
Yeah, it's pretty tough from that far back in the court. Low percentage shot.
And that's an understatement. That was a low percentage shot.
Yeah. I don't know too many guys who aren't named Federer that can make that shot.
And make it look easy almost.
Yeah.
So Michael Russell has had to face 6 break points in his first 2 service games, and he's held serve. He leads 2-1 in the first. James Blake, 6th seeded. We're on serve in the first. Michael Russell's had all kinds of trouble holding, but he's been able to do it. Leads 2-1, and Blake second service gain here. You can see the wind starting to pick up in the shirts of the two players, and serving with the wind now is Blake. Hard second serve into the body of Russell that time by James.
And again, that's where James, the big place he can improve on is that second serve, doing a good job there of jamming Russell.
And Blake running around that forehand to hit that 30 love.
Another good second serve by Blake. Doing a good job of mixing it up right now, not allowing Russell to get comfortable with him going to the same spot every time.
And James wins his serve at love.
Finally an easy service game there. Both guys struggling up to that point, but Blake now maybe getting into a little bit of a groove on the serve. Should be interesting to see how Russell responds here. Thing is, if you're struggling on your serve each game, time and time again facing those break points, you know, eventually it's going to catch up to you.
I know that feeling well.
Don't we all?
You keep thinking you're going to get better as you work your way into the match, but if that doesn't happen soon, Michael Russell is spending a lot of energy.
Yes. Yes.
Double fault. Oh, that was a let, so he gets a second serve. So James working hard at the forehand of Russell that time, and again has an early advantage here.
Yeah, forehand is Russell's weaker side. Not really too smart of a play there. I'm not sure what he was trying to do, a little drop shot from way behind the baseline, but James definitely picking on it.
And a huge return by James Blake, and again he's got himself in position.
And that's the risk you take by serving to the Blake forehand. I mean, obviously you can't go to the backhand every time because it's not like his backhand is that bad, where if he knows it's coming there, he's gonna hit all right. But you start messing with that Blake forehand too much, you're gonna get burned.
Well, that time Russell's big serve to the backhand of Blake good enough.
As we look at James's mother.
Still works up at the tennis club in Trumbull.
First serve.
Nice facility. I've been up there. Trumbull, Connecticut, that is. About 50 miles north of the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center.
Blake with another good return. Some two more. There's his coach Brian Barker and his brother Thomas.
Thomas stayed with the dreadlocks, and James, no.
No. James actually shaved his off, and they auctioned him off for charity a few years back. Blake just not doing enough with that approach. I think he would have been better off going into the open court, keeping the play in front of him. As we look here, Russell with the forehand down the line pass, Blake with the dive. Too easy of a shot for Russell there.
8th break point Russell's faced. James trying to attack the backhand, and you can see a little frustration.
Yeah, I think so. You know, he realizes he's had a lot of opportunities here to start off the match, and like I said earlier, you know, James generally a very good front runner. He'd like to get his nose out in front and be able to maybe start hitting out a little bit more. Definitely plenty of opportunities to do that. Wow. And that's not an easy thing to do, hit a drop shot winner against James Blake. But Russell disguising it well. Blake looking far back in the court there, looking to play some defense. Nice surprise, nice change by Mike Russell.
So Russell making it up as he goes here, and he's got himself a game point.
Game, Russell.
Michael Russell, the great escape, 8 break points in his first 3 service games.
Russell
He leads
leads
3-2 in this first
set.
round at the US Open. Never know. Right now, James Blake to serve, try to even up this first set against Michael Russell.
You know, another thing with James is now they've played 5 games. They've already been out there half an hour. Mike is in excellent shape. Mike Russell, excellent shape. I mean, this guy trains so hard. James in good shape, but he's had some problems in the past with cramping at times. So, you know, the longer they stay out there, the more that favors Mike Russell.
And James Blake has been very active playing deep into tournaments the last few weeks. So, you know, best of 5 in the Grand Slams, you don't want to, in your first round, have to play 5 or even 4 if you can help it.
No, exactly. And, you know, that goes back to there's a saying that Grand Slams aren't won in the first week, but they are lost. A lot of times if you spend too much time out on the court in that first week of a Grand Slam, it's going to be tough for you in that second week because you know you're going to get tough matches in the second week.
James Blake off the win at New Haven, beating Marty Fish, 7-5, 6-4. Now, a lot of players like to take that week off before a Grand Slam to just practice or rest a little more. Blake likes playing. It's his backyard. He's familiar, friendly confines, and he's had a lot of success there. So a different approach for different players.
Yes, without a doubt. And Blake with the big forehand there, stepping inside the court and the cross-court winner. But yeah, I mean, I think as we look at it here, good first serve, stepping up.
First serve.
But yes, I think a big part of that is his backyard. He has his fan club there, the J Block, that give him a lot of support. So, you know, I think it might be a little bit different, especially after the good week in Cincinnati, if it wasn't so close to home for him.
Oh, great forehand that time by Blake. You saw a little anger, I thought, in that one.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a little strange. I mean, he hit the ball and you know, just kind of stood there afterwards, which isn't you know, very Blake-like. James usually moving around, as we hear the J Block in the background screaming out break. They usually have a suite somewhere here in the stadium that get all his friends from home come out and support him.
15.
James began his season at Sydney, defeating Carlos Moya for that title, 3-setter. Lost in the round of 16 at the Australian to Fernando Gonzalez. 3 straight close sets. Russell ran it down.
And again, these guys just out there now starting to loosen up, getting into the meat of this set. So we watch Russell. Good job of getting that ball low. Forehand pass down the line. Showing off his great speed. But both guys now really starting to hit out. Starting to, I think, feel more confident. Starting to go for their shots more. 15 all.
50.
Russell with 128-mile-an-hour first serve there. Like I said, even though he's a little guy, he can pack some punch, some pop.
Oh, he missed hit 2 in a row.
40-50.
Second one cost him a point. Well, we're 34 minutes in, 6 games have been played.
Yeah,
do the math. This could be a long one.
Yes, yes. Like I said, both guys, it's tough to get the ball by both these guys. So there could be a lot of long points, as there have been so far. Great get.
And the second one blows out just wide. So Michael Russell continues to hold serve. He leads 4-3 in the first.
Russell leads 4 games to 3. First set.
So James Blake to serve, 8th game of this first set, trailing 3-4. Russell, a little drop shot from the baseline, so putting a little pressure here on Blake.
Blake with the slice. Russell again with the drop shot. See, that's, I don't know. I think James, some might be bothering him out there a little bit. You know, he's usually able to run down balls like that. Interesting to see as this match goes on.
Think that caught him by surprise a little bit?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but still, James is pretty quick.
He explodes a big serve down the middle of the court.
Another thing might be, at that point, being up 30-love, maybe trying to conserve a little energy.
123 miles per hour in that last one. And Russell tried the lob. That didn't work, and now his backhand ends up in the net. And Blake holds. We're all even at 4-all. One of the things that watching Roger Federer on his opening match yesterday is the way he's able to control games and points and really the flow of the match so that he does conserve energy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Roger, you know, is amazing at doing that on just, you know, knowing when and where he really needs to put maximum effort into it. And at other times, just looking to conserve.
Sampras used to be so good at that.
Oh, yeah. Pete was amazing. He was the best.
And that's just long.
Russell doing an excellent job of again, controlling the points, moving James around a lot. You know, this is, it's getting a little interesting. I mean, as this match goes along, if Mike can continue to control the points like this, it could be a long match.
And the longer it goes, who knows?
Yes. Like I said, I think as the longer this match goes on, the more it favors a guy like Mike Russell.
Blake went after it on the backhand.
Yeah, and I don't mind that play. I mean, you know, down love, 30 love in the game. Going ahead, taking a shot, stepping up, and trying to be offensive. I mean, that's James's game.
Russell's first serve percentage just a little higher than Blake's at 62%. That time just an unforced error.
Yeah, that's unlike Russell there. He usually does a great job of giving himself good net clearance on his shots from when he's back behind the baseline. That one, trajectory a little bit too low. Even if it went over, it's going to be short. James would have probably stepped in and taken control of the point from there. Good forehand return by Blake. Caught Russell off guard. So we hear the J block in the background. There they are. It's the J block.
Got to have a headband
Yep.
if you're in it. Russell holds again. 5-4 in the first. Michael Russell over James Blake.
Let's see Russell here maybe take a few chances on the Blake second serve if he gets the opportunity. Make him feel a little bit of pressure serving at 4-5. Wow.
Wow. Blake explodes a forehand cross court deep in the corner.
And that's the Blake trademark right there, that big forehand on the run. We see the flag blowing pretty well now.
With the wind, Blake serving and up 30 love.
But actually, no, I actually think he's against the wind now because like I said, that the flag is blowing into the stadium and so it swirls around down there at court level. Blake trying to sneak in there, hitting the big ball, but Russell doing a great job there, playing some good defense, able to, as we see James running in behind that ball, but Russell did a good job of keeping that ball low. Blake not getting up there quick enough.
Second serve.
Second serve.
Second serve again. And again.
This is where James sometimes runs a little bit of trouble on the second serve. He tends to pull his head down.
And that a little bit of a late call, but
40-15.
40-15. So James the last couple of weeks, a title at New Haven, a final prior to that, 25 sets played. 15 hours plus on the court.
Yeah.
Oh, a break there for Russell.
Again, Blake not even making an effort to try and run that ball down. And that might be because he's up 40-15 in the game.
And that,
yeah, chastising himself there. Realizing that just wasn't a smart shot. Should have gone ahead and hit the backhand instead, trying that little drop shot.
late decision too.
Yeah, not even close. Well, he tried to disguise it. Second serve here. Let's see if Russell maybe tries to put a little pressure on him.
Oh, and the forehand netted.
That was a missed opportunity. I think Russell would be kicking himself after that one. Hit a good return, had the ball just sitting there in the middle of the court. Had the right idea, wanted to hit it into the backhand and get in, but had to get it over that net.
Wow, backhand return off that second serve. What an angle by Russell. Another break point.
Yeah, I think actually a pretty good second serve. Good depth. Russell, I don't think he tried to make it quite that good, but he'll take it.
Advantage, Blake.
And Blake comes back with a solid serve.
Yeah, doing a good job of trying to pick on that Russell forehand again. Got a few missed returns off of it.
Wow, oh, huge forehand winner by Blake. He bats the ball across the net, and he's even at 5 apiece.
He did a great job there as we look again.
5 games all.
James running around that backhand, hitting that big forehand inside in there. That's tough to do, to hit a ball from back behind the baseline that Mike Russell can't get to.
Russell's starting to pick up some fans in Ash Stadium. You can hear them.
Yeah, like you said, he's a New York type of guy.
You know, New York loves underdogs. James Blake's always been the underdog. Now, it's different. He's got to play as the 6th seed. Last year, you know, a higher seed. You're not an underdog anymore.
Nope.
15 low.
They're unforced error off the backhand side.
There really is a little different energy.
Yes, without a doubt. It's a lot easier to play when you're the underdog. You know, there's not as much expected of you. You're able to hit out a little bit more when you become the person that's supposed to win, the favorite. You know, sometimes you get a little tight.
And that one is swung wide. So, Russell, 2 points away from a 6-5 lead. Now 1 point from holding, 40 love.
Wild forehand return there by Blake. Seems like whenever James gets the opportunity, he's trying to keep the points as short as possible. Contrast, Russell obviously trying to stretch him out, move Blake around as much as he can.
First serve.
With that being said, he'll take those free points though.
That serve 120 miles an hour. Oh, Russell rips a forehand and holds. His service games are becoming easier. We're 6-5 Russell in the first.
6 games to 5. First set.
So James Blake serving to stay in the first set, trailing 5-6.
Blake not liking that ball, asking for another one. Russell again not doing enough with that return to serve, allowing Blake to control the point. You know, I understand that on a first serve, but on that second serve, I think he needs to look to be a little bit more aggressive. Whoa.
15 all.
Late and lucky, we call that. I don't think Russell tried to hit that one, but he'll take it.
It's going to be good to be lucky now. Remember
That's
that.
true. That's true.
30, 15.
That one Russell disappointed with for sure.
And that's to his stronger side. So we see the flag in the wind blowing into the stadium up there.
Just past 3 o'clock Eastern time. Day 2 of the U.S. Open. forehand winner by Blake. 1 point away from sending this to a tiebreak.
Blake making that a little bit closer, I think, than he probably wanted to, but.
Well, we've seen Marcos Baghdatis, the 18th seed, eliminated on day 1. And that was a loose backhand by James.
Yeah, again, James trying to establish that backhand down the line.
James Blake, 40-30, serving to get to a tiebreak. And the call was wide. I think the challenge might go up there.
Yeah, we'll see our first challenge
on the
this
right
match.
sideline. The ball was called out.
So the players will look up at the huge scoreboards, and there it is. That definitely looked in, and it is in. And we are headed to a tiebreak here in the first set.
Okay, Blake.
And I don't know, it seems like to me that these first couple of days here that the players are actually doing a better job of challenging, and being right. It seems like over the summer, the matches that I've watched, that the players tend to be wrong a lot more than they are right. But the last couple of days, I think it's been the opposite.
The players adjusting then maybe for the Grand Slam anyway. First point of the tiebreak to Michael Russell. And sideline challenges are usually a little more on target than the baseline calls by the players.
Yeah, on their side, it seems that they tend to have the biggest problem with that.
And Russell just can't get up high enough to retrieve that. 1-all.
1-all.
James Blake, career tiebreak record, and he's played in a lot of them. 87 and 73. Michael Russell, 12 and 20.
2-1.
This year alone, James 17 and 10 in tiebreakers.
Blake with the ace there. Always nice to get that free point in the tiebreaker.
Michael Russell, his highest ranking ever. Earlier this month, he got to number 60. And he's giving James Blake fits here in the first set. Oh, James Blake.
Blake showing off his speed there. That's what I'm talking about. It's difficult. Disguise that drop shot nicely, but Blake getting up there. And then Russell just not doing enough with that little lob. Blake putting away the slam. Great movement, great balance. I guess he was just saving it for the important times.
They caught a little bit of a break there on Russell's backhand. Lob was well short, so he stayed in the point. Now he's got a second serve to work against. Oh, Blake. And where's Russell? He's down in the corner trying to give chase, and James just had him on the defensive.
If you look, Russell stretched out there. Blake here stepping inside that court, taking the ball early, taking time away from Russell, not allowing him to run that last ball down. Coming in behind it just in case he did get to it. That's a style of tennis James Blake needs to play. That's when he's the most effective.
Russell with a great return there, put Blake on the defensive. 4-2, James in the tiebreak. They'll change sides.
They've had, over the years, have a good relationship with James's coach, Brian Barker, and it's interesting. Sometimes when he'll come to me, as a lot of coaches do, or I'll go to another coach, but he'll come to me and ask me about a certain player and how, you should play against him. And I'll say, well, it's good. You can try and chip the ball a little bit, play some defense. And he's like, oh, no. No, James needs to be aggressive. James' style is to be aggressive. That's the way he's the most effective. And it's true. It's true.
Second serve now.
See Russell be aggressive here.
Well, that backhand right in the middle of the net.
And Russell there getting in that pattern. We talk about patterns during points. The pattern that he likes is backhand to backhand. The pattern that James wants is forehand to forehand. James there trying to change that pattern because he was in the backhand to backhand, go up the line so he'd get the forehand to forehand, but just didn't move his feet.
Stabs by Blake. And he didn't have one left there. So Russell has bounced back, leads 5-4.
4-all.
Or now even at 4-all.
Russell doing a great job there, opening up the court by hitting that backhand down the line and then stepping in again and hitting that big forehand. You see him moving in case he had to hit a volley. Blake nowhere close to that.
Called out.
Yeah, I don't think anybody heard.
Didn't hear the call.
With the screaming from the crowd.
5-4.
He's going to challenge.
Mr. Blake
why
is
not?
challenging the call.
I think 3, so.
On the left baseline. The ball was called out.
2 of the 20 Americans in the draw right here on Ash in a tiebreak. Here's a look. The player challenge.
Oh! Wow.
Just that much of the baseline.
And I think that was the one there where obviously James, I think from his position, couldn't tell if it was in or out, really didn't have any idea, but
Maybe
figured, hey, I have 3 challenges. Yeah, I have 3 challenges. I might as well take one here. Smart play.
4-all.
Paid off for him.
Another second serve. Russell's only won 52% of those, 11 of 21. Oh, he blows a big serve to the forehand side wide.
Wow, and that's the one there where I talked about where I would have thought, if 4-all in the tiebreaker, the guy's going to get a little tight, just kind of spin one in. Blake run around, hit the big forehand, but Russell showing some guts and going for the big wide serve.
At this point, what has he got to lose?
Mr. Blake is
challenging again.
On the left far sideline, the ball was called out.
Like from our view that one did miss.
That looked
but
wide.
Yeah, but figure he has 3 challenges.
And look at it, and that one is wide.
Yeah, but not by much.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Not by much. But listen to the crowd react.
Yeah, that's what it's.
They're
great.
all guessing too.
This is great for tennis. Now the double fault.
6-4.
And Russell now 1 point away from a 1-set lead.
Mr. Blake has 2 challenges remaining.
James Blake led 4-1 in this tiebreak.
Russell with the unforced backhand return error.
Russell.
You gotta make the, no, you have to make the guy play there. It's a second serve. All right, let's see if Russell here goes for a big first serve or maybe takes a little something off it, gets it in, tries to get control of the point.
Another set point here. Russell's taking his time.
I think waiting for the J block to quiet down.
Then Welch trying to restore order.
Oh! And Russell going for the big first serve, making it. Had the forehand that he wanted.
Blake is pumped. He's still in this.
Yeah, exactly. Figured he dodged a bullet there. You see, nice big serve up the tee. Blake in the middle of the court. Yeah, Russell there. I mean, you know, you hate to second guess a guy. Blake getting pumped up, but you know, why not take that ball, go into the weaker side of Blake, the backhand, get into the net and say, go ahead and pass me. And try and pass me, you know? I mean, that's...
Yeah, Blake is definitely fired up now because he's back in it, 6-all. He worked Russell to his forehand, and Blake now has a chance to win this first set.
7-6, Blake.
So Blake now serving, set point.
Caught the racket edge. And that'll do it. Blake stood right in there, toe-to-toe, and he finishes 8-6 in the tiebreak. James Blake, 1-set lead at the U.S. Open.
Second set.
Well, 34 countries represented at the U.S. Open this year. The U.S. has the most competitors, 20, and these are two of the Americans here. James Blake near court, and Michael Russell in the far court. Only two seeded Americans, James Blake, Andy Roddick. Spain has 6 seeded players, the most of any country. Argentina 4.
30.
And let's see how Blake begins this second set. You would think energy would be sky high.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he has momentum now. Russell starting off the set, a couple of unforced errors right off the return.
James got caught a little in between there on that return of serve.
Yeah, it's a little better. Mike doing a good job, good deep return. Short reply, stepping up and hitting the big forehand. Obviously, Russell's disappointed to lose that first set, but he has to, you know, stay focused and try and make James work for everything as Blake throws in a double fault to 30-all. Big game for Blake to keep the momentum that he's established by winning that first set right here.
Blake has 4 doubles in the match. Russell stepped into that forehand. Sharp angle.
30-40.
So a break point. Just his second of the match.
And I believe he had the first game that James served in that first set as well.
And he misses. So just like that, Michael Russell breaks back to start the second set. And Russell regains the momentum.
Exactly. That's just, you know, that's a tough start for James. I mean, like I said, he had the momentum winning that first set, should be feeling sky high, missed returns first 2 points, and then all of a sudden, you know, just loses 4 straight.
So 20 winners, 13 unforced by Blake in the first set. The big number there, the 8 break points that he could not convert He got to the net 13 times, 9 points won there. An hour and 5 minutes for that first set, and a best of 5. So these two, as you mentioned, Dean Goldfine, could be out there a while.
Yeah, and both guys, both successful coming to the net. Mike Russell 5 for 5 in that first set. James Blake 9 for 13. As James comes in again, wins another one.
Yeah, off the backhand too.
Yeah. I mean, both these guys hit the ball big enough and heavy enough to where they're getting mid-court balls. They should be hitting these balls saying, okay, here's an opportunity for me to get my way to the net. Shorten points, especially James, where he doesn't want to have to play a lot of long points.
Trying to keep Russell on his forehand side.
15 all.
15 all. Well, the big money is out there at this U.S. Open, almost $20 million, up a record $1 million from last year, the largest single year increase to U.S. Open prize money in history. The winner, $1.4 million. The runner-up, $700,000. And with all that bonus prize money out there, it could be a huge payday. Just getting started though, and James Blake had a slow start in his first set, survived a tiebreak. Here we are in the second game. There's been a service break by Russell, and he's trying to consolidate that.
Big first serve there by Russell. Blake missing that return again. There's so many shifts of momentum as these matches go on. Important game for here for Russell to try and win. Keep the momentum now that he's got on his side.
So game point coming here for
30.
Blake. Tries to break back. Well, on day one, a couple of big servers sprung upsets. Max Murney eliminating Marcos Baghdatis, John Isner over Jarkko Nieminen. This is a little different, this one. This is punch, counter punch. Oh, that one didn't climb over. And so James Blake finally converts a break point after that first set of failures. He's back even again.
The first set 0 for 8, now 1 for 1. And Russell 1 for 2 for the match.
James Blake finished second in the U.S. Open Series final standings to Roger Federer. That means a potential U.S. Open bonus prize money for him could be as much as $500,000.
That would be if he won the tournament, right, Mike?
Right. So besides the motivation, the incentive of history, there's plenty of cash too.
There we go. It always helps.
40.
Now Blake with a little momentum here in his second service game.
Game late. New balls, please. Blake leads 2 games to 1. Second set, and by 1 set to love. Fifteen low. Gillette. First serve. Fifteen. Russell is challenging the call. The right center service line. The ball was called out. The second serve. Advantage play. Mr. Russell has one challenge remaining. Advantage play. Advantage, Blake. Game, Blake. Blake leads 3-1. Second set. Game, Blake. Blake leads 4-1. Second set. And by 1 set to love.
Arthur Ashe Stadium, James Blake, Michael Russell trading blasts from the baseline, and then that by Russell puts him in an early hole here.
Yeah, I'm actually looking now for James to start to really steamroll Russell here. I mean, I think Mike a little bit down on himself, and again, James, once he gets ahead, he's able to start swinging freely. He's pretty tough to beat.
Another drop that Blake gets to. And let's see, can he run that down? That was asking a little too much.
Yeah. That one I don't think he had any choice. I think he had to go between the legs on that one. See a little drop shot, well disguised, a little backspin on it. But Blake still gets there.
Well,
this
Russell tried
so
that
fast.
shot earlier and didn't execute it.
No,
this time he made sure.
Exactly.
I mean, you put James Blake against the back wall.
30-15.
And what I like what James is doing here is even though he missed that, he's going for it. He realizes he doesn't want to play a lot of long points. He wants to keep the points short, and he wants to take his chances. He's going to take his cuts.
That one's wide.
40-15.
40-15, Russell. We talked a lot last night about the inspiration of Althea Gibson. James Blake lived in New York. Arthur Ashe came to speak. Blake got inspired to play this game because of that.
Yeah, it shows what little things. I mean, like the Arthur Ashe Kids Day that they have here. It's great. The kids come out. The looks they get in their eyes. I mean, it's the greatest. That they're just so pumped up, and hopefully you never know. It could be another James Blake out there that gets inspired by it.
He's been playing since age 5 in the Harlem Junior Tennis League. He returns there now, gives lessons when he's not playing. His dad was a volunteer coach there. when he was alive at the Harlem Tennis Center. So
15.
important to give kids a chance to live out a dream of some kind. And, you know, Blake's living it now. I mean, he had those struggles. He was out, illness, vertebrae in 2004, then 2 comebacks in 2005 and 2006 to the point where he's a top 10 player now.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, he keeps things, does such a great job of keeping things in perspective, because he
15.
realizes how lucky he is to be able to do what he's doing and make a living doing it.
Oh, by the way, to go back to that dreadlock story, they raised $2,300 when he cut off his dreadlocks
And
for
auctioned them off on
eBay.
Yeah.
It was a New Haven girls basketball team that needed some, help with some expenses, and
15.
James cut off the dreadlocks and helped them kind of cover costs of their travel and all that. So
Well, Russell here now making a little bit of a comeback. Another 5th double fault for Blake, 15-30.
no doubt about that.
30.
The body language will tell you an awful lot about
Yeah.
what's happening. Michael Russell walking around a little gingerly. James with a little hop in his step. And now it's Russell who's raising his palms up.
Yeah, it's, he knows he needs to get that ball back in play and make James hit another ball, make James hit another shot.
And Russell just can't run down that powerful forehand. James Blake, 7-6, 5-2 in the first round.
5 games to 2, second set, and by 1 set to love.
James Blake, seeded 6th. Second highest seed he's ever had in a Grand Slam event. Was number 5 last year here.
Last year he had the misfortune of drawing Roger Federer in the quarterfinals. This year that falls upon Andy Roddick, another American. So we'll see if he, first of all, if they can both get there, and
Right.
then once he does, if he can fare any better against Federer.
The players will say you're going to have to go through Roger Federer these days.
Yeah.
Whether you meet him in the quarters or the semis or the finals, I mean, how much does it really matter?
Yeah, I think, it seems like in the past that Roger seems to save his best tennis for the end. So, sometimes it might be a little bit better to face him earlier in the tournament as opposed to in the final.
Well, it would certainly be a major upset if Roger Federer wasn't there waiting for somebody in the final.
Mike
So
Russell
Russell
going to challenge.
challenging the call on the right baseline.
James not sure if it was in or out. And the umpire not sure either, so.
The official review in that tiebreak was key.
Yes. Yep.
Blake asked for it in the tiebreak, and that was huge.
Yes.
Fans reacting to the call. They get to react twice now.
Yeah.
On the call and then on the
original call
review.
and then on the review, yeah.
See, that's good. The fans are involved.
It is.
Because in this game, you can't really be involved unless you're a Davis Cup in the middle of a point.
Exactly. Well, even that, there's, even at Davis Cup, you really can't be involved in the middle of a point. But obviously, there's a lot more involvement in between with the cheering, the yelling.
Blake tried to drop one from behind the baseline.
I think these guys almost, it's a challenge to them. They each know the other one is so fast that it's like an inside thing. They want to be able to beat the other guy at what they usually can't do.
Sometimes just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You might get a free point there somehow.
40
So Russell solid in this service game, 40 love.
I think it's called general stubbornness.
Not creativity?
Russell going for the big second serve up the tee, just missing it.
15.
Russell making his 14th Grand Slam appearance. He's played in a number of these events, but he hasn't had much success. He's lost in the first round 13 times.
Blake doing a good job on his return games, conserving energy.
Game. Russell.
And James has to tip the headband that time. That was a good serve.
Blake leads 5 games to 3.
An 8 Mile
Second set.
ace out wide. We'll see if Blake can hold and put himself up 2 sets to love.
Well, despite the fact Russell hasn't had a lot of success, I go back to that 2001 match at Roland Garros. He had a match point against Gustavo Kuerten, who was the defending champion in his heyday, in his prime. That tells you something.
Oh, yeah.
Russell at the net.
Good play, finally. You know, once he got Blake far enough out of the court,
Love 15.
did a good job there sneaking in behind that, hitting a little drop volley into the open court. Then Blake with the good out wide serve.
15 all.
Looking to hit a forehand on that next shot. Short reply. Big forehand in the open court.
And getting to the net and finishing with a flare, James Blake.
Big inside out forehand by Russell there.
Great shot.
He looks doing a good job of getting around that ball right here. Blake with the slice. Great angle.
Whoa.
Well, Blake getting a little lucky there, not really doing enough with that volley. But then, as we see it, Russell with the pass, not a very good volley, but Russell giving it right back to him.
And surprising, he went back at him. You thought he might go down the line.
Yeah, I think he respected James's speed there, and he felt he'd be running full out into the open court. He tried to go behind him.
Well, James Blake has the second set with a service break, 7-6, 6-3. An hour and 41 minutes into it, the men's singles first round match at Arthur Ashe Stadium in the US Open 2007. James Blake down a couple of set points in the tiebreak. Came back to win that 8-6 and now has the second set 6-3. Michael Russell to serve here to start the third. And has the first point. Sun's starting to peek out of the clouds now, so we'll see some shadows with the light stanchions in the court and right along the baseline where Russell's standing.
Wow, great athleticism by Blake there. Running in the full sprint, able to just stop on a dime. As we look at it here, look at him stop and just elevate. And the little flick there of the wrist. An athlete.
30-15.
James there, just forehand, just clipping the top of the tape. But I like it though. He's looking to be aggressive, looking to use that big forehand every opportunity he gets.
On the bottom half of his draw in this U.S. Open, Nikolai Davydenko, Andy Murray, Tommy Haas. Marcos Bagdatis has been eliminated.
Murray is a tough matchup for James.
Murray's been injured all summer, but he looked good in his first round match. So regaining his health and trying to gain some momentum as he wraps up this 2007 season. Murray was certainly an up-and-comer. Then wrist problems and things happen.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you're out that long. I don't think he's played a tournament since maybe Hamburg, a few weeks before the French Open. So definitely, had some rust there, but did play a good first-round match yesterday. Won rather convincingly.
First game.
Well, Russell holds to open the third. The match 1 hour and 46 minutes long. Russell's been through 3 shirts. James Blake stayed with the same one. Anything there?
I don't think so. I think just, probably comes down to Russell sweating more than Blake.
Or James not wanting to let on that he's having to work up too much of a sweat in this first rounder. Well, the first serve percentage in the second set definitely increasing for both players. Only 3 aces by James.
15.
That's a risky run there when you hit that forehand from the ad side, inside in, and you leave that court open to the cross court. You see Russell hit here.
So James Blake, 30-15, his first service game of the third set. He leads 2 sets to love. The sun has come back out on Arthur Ashe Stadium court. Wow.
Again, same play again that we saw 2 points ago.
And he just said unbelievable when he made that mistake.
Because he knows, same thing. Russell just barely getting that return back in play. James electing to go inside in with it and leaving Russell the relatively easy cross-court forehand pass.
Big serve that time, 128 miles per hour by James.
Blake going from look like just a routine hold now enables Russell to get back to deuce.
Wow, that was way long. Well, there's physical and there's mental concentration.
Yes.
A couple of points where James is, wow.
Talk about mental concentration. That was an extremely loose error there, and Mike Russell knows it. It was just silly. I mean, he just didn't.
Probably believed he could hit the shot and then just couldn't do it.
Yeah, well, I think he could hit it. He just didn't really move his feet to get in position to hit it.
Tried to work that backhand, and that is trouble. Russell can win on that side.
Yeah, it's a great down the line backhand. James doing a good job getting around, going inside out this time. But Russell paints that line.
That caught the baseline.
Yeah. And Russell with a break point now. And that's the thing, it's an easy game. As we look at the break points won, Russell just 1 out of 2. Blake 2 out of 13.
Well, he saves that one. Well, Russell looking at an opportunity to go up 2-love in this third set. And that went by the board, third deuce.
Advantage, Blake.
25th unforced error.
Yeah,
Russell.
Yeah, he's just trying to do too much with that ball. You know, he's trying to hit a clean winner instead of working the point, moving Blake around a little bit.
Game.
So James Blake holds.
1 game all.
We're all even. We are in a period here in tennis history where Roger Federer has been dominant. 187 straight weeks as #1. James Blake trying to move into the conversation. Rafael Nadal and Federer have won the last 10 majors. That is the most ever since 1925. First time that's happened since then. Roy Emerson, Rod Laver in the 60s, early 60s, were able to dominate, won 8 majors between them. But we have never seen this, not since 1925, that is.
It's pretty impressive, Mike. You're definitely on top of your tennis history.
Well, the more you see Federer and the more records he starts to establish, the more you have to look things up.
That's true.
And Nadal is right in the picture with his French Open dominance now. So I just wonder how that impacts guys like James Blake, Andy Roddick. Now Djokovic starting to make a move.
Right.
Do they see that I can break through, or do they look and say, it's going to be tough?
Well, I think they know it's tough and it's a challenge, but I also think that helps to raise the bar. You know, that as we watch Mike Russell here, stepping in, hitting that big forehand. But yeah, these guys know if they want to, you know, they have the goal to be #1 in the world. And to get there, they have to beat guys like Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. And to do that, they have to train more. They have to, you know, get in better shape. They have to, you know, work on the mental part of the game as well.
Oh, Blake, nice job at the net.
That's what I'd like to see James Blake do more of. You know, he's such a good athlete. Such a good athlete. There's no reason here as he steps in, takes that return early, comes in, again, slides through that volley, and then able to cover the open court. But he's been so effective today. He's winning 76% of his points when he comes to net. Why not keep doing it? Do it more. 19 to 25.
That was good.
Wow.
Oh, let's see if we get a challenge.
That one was corrected by the chair umpire,
Mr. Blake is challenging.
Lynn Welch.
On the right near sideline.
James
The ball's called
challenging.
good.
James kind of dropped his racket back away from it.
Right, well, and he did think it was out, but no. Good job by the chair umpire.
Mr. Blake has 1 challenge remaining.
Lynn Welch on top of things.
30-0.
Blake loses one of his challenges here for the third set.
Well, Russell,
40-30.
40-30. The chair umpires have really done a pretty good job with this system and, you know, picking their spots to make a call themselves and not staying out of it so much that they're letting electronics rule the day.
Yes.
I'd like that. Wow, wow, big forehand by Blake.
Yeah, and that's what I think that, you know, when they first came out with the challenges, I think as we see Russell here going to the Blake forehand, playing with fire, that burned. One of the biggest shots in tennis. But, you know, that the umpires, as it's gone along here, have done a better job of you know, getting involved when they deemed it was necessary. You know, I think at first that they did shy away from it and let the electronic line calling do its job, but now that they tend to, you know, go out there. If they see a mistake, they're going to get involved, and I think that's great.
That was a record-breaking day yesterday here on the grounds. The National Tennis Center, another great crowd on day 2. And they're being treated to some good tennis. And Michael Russell has made James Blake work for everything he's got. And almost 2 hours in, Blake with 2 sets.
2 games to 1. Third set.
In today's game, you need to be aggressive at times. You need to be able to take the play to people and get to the net. And you know, he's definitely looking to do that.
There's one of those unforced errors that James Blake's had off the backhand side. 25 on the match. The numbers very close, really, in this match. As he finishes that overhead, but 96 points total for Blake, 89 for Michael Russell. Blake's had 8 aces in the match, 3 for Michael Russell.
Deep second serve by Blake there, jammed Russell.
And Russell took a long look at that as if it might have been long, but did not challenge. Ace number 9 for Blake.
I find that when James is serving his best, he's very relaxed, not trying to overhit the serve. He's doing a good job of moving it around. That's when he tends to have most of his success. Another drop shot by Russell.
Blake got to it. And Russell, cat-like on the baseline that time.
It's an amazing athleticism by Blake as we show him going back there. Almost coming up with going to 2 hands there. Trying to just block that ball back in the court.
Looked like Blake thought he had that point won by that acrobatic overhead he hit. Now Russell with an error.
Yeah, I just can't afford to do that.
2 games on. Third set.
It's interesting, you know, we talk about the number of points won right now, 99 for Blake and 90 for Russell. And there's a stat a couple of weeks ago, you know, and they talked about, they were asking, you know, what for the year, what percentage of points would you say that Roger Federer has won in his matches? Of all his matches that he's played this year, what percentage of those do you think he's won?
Probably a large percentage, it seems.
55%. 55. And so that shows, you know, that these matches are decided by very few points. You know, and what it comes down to is the great players, they play the big points really well. And they know what those big points are.
Blake back to chase it, but could not come up with the backhand.
15 love.
So, you know, that's something that shows. I mean, here's a guy who's only lost, I think he's maybe lost, I don't know, 6 or 8 matches this year. So not many. And he's only winning 55% of the points for all his matches.
Now, I love stats in most sports, but they can tell little lies once in a while.
Yeah.
Roger Federer is able to, you know, make big shots and important points because he has the skill and talent. It's not so much.
And the confidence.
Well, yeah, the confidence and the knowledge, obviously,
right.
Blake gets to the net that time, puts it away with a forehand.
15 all.
You have to have the ability, you know, and the greatness to be able to make shots when it counts.
Yep. You have to be put in that position enough as well. You know, that's the thing. I mean, I think you can't really expect it from someone the first few times they've been in a position. But the more you get out there, obviously, at least hopefully, the more comfortable you get. And when you're successful, the more confidence you get.
Well, Russell got to the net that time.
Both players now understanding, looking to get in more, understanding that it's getting tougher and tougher as we see Russell take that forehand. Nice transition into the net. The easy forehand volley. Both guys understanding it's getting tougher and tougher to hit winners from the back of the court against each other. And that's when I talk about, when I talk about that I think James Blake needs to look to get to the net more. I'm not saying that he should start all of a sudden serving volleying all the time or looking to chip and charge all the time, but I think as big of a ball as he hits, especially off the forehand side, that he passes up opportunities where he can hit those big forehands, get in, and then knock off easy volleys instead of having to hit 4 or 5 big forehands to win each point.
Conserving energy while still having success.
40-30.
And 2 percentages, it's say he hits 5 big forehands and he hits 4 really well and then misses the 5th one by an inch. Okay, that's still great, as opposed to if he maybe only has to hit 2 for that point and then comes to the net and has the easy, shoulder high volley into the open court. That's a lot easier way to win a point as opposed to having to hit 4 huge forehands to win it.
Left. Second serve. Game, Russell.
Well, Michael Russell holds 3-2 in the third, but he's trailing by 2 sets here in the first round of the U.S. Open. Mike Crispino, Dean Goldfein here at Arthur Ashe Stadium. That's James Blake to serve. It's 2-3 in the third. He has the first 2 sets. We were just talking about some of the American successes in the first round. Scoville Jenkins is a quality athlete. He just ran into Roger Federer in the first round.
Yeah, Scoville, he's had some tough draws here at the U.S. Open. A few years back playing Andy Roddick first round. A couple of years ago, winning his first round against George Bastel from Switzerland, and then running into Rafael Nadal second round, and now this year running into Federer first round. So he's played, 3 of the top players in the world, either first or second round here. So hopefully one of these days he'll get a decent draw here.
Well, that time Blake went backhand, underhand. I don't know if that's possible. Is it physically?
Yeah, I don't know. These guys, just when you think you wouldn't be able to see that shot, these guys pull it off. So you never know.
Yeah, I don't know if I could even think of that one.
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
Let alone try to execute it.
Blake with his 10th ace of the match. It's about 30-15.
Oh, that's just wide.
30.
Again, you see Blake pulling the trigger on that forehand, going for some big ones.
Rare miss hit.
Russell just not getting up to that ball. Realized that was a missed opportunity at 30 all. Showing his frustration, tossing the racket up in the air.
We haven't had much of the tossing on the concrete of the racket this, it's still early, only the second day of play.
Yeah.
Blake holds.
A guy like Mike Russell, I don't think he gets an unlimited supply of rackets, so he might be a little more cautious about throwing that thing around and cracking it, as opposed to a guy like Murat Safin, who...
The all-time leader, I believe, in that category.
Probably, but I'm sure he gets as many rackets as he wants.
Been some unforced errors off the forehand side that have been surprising almost for Russell.
Yeah, but that is his weaker side, so you probably will for that reason, you'll see a couple more, but also too because he's going to try and be a little bit more offensive with the forehand, and he'll maybe have a few more winners, but will have some more errors.
"30 winners, 30 unforced errors now for Michael Russell." So the unforced errors starting to creep in. Blake's had 37 winners, 28 unforced errors. Wow. That time Russell made no mistake.
No, Blake just
15
a little slow getting up to that ball, enabling Russell to recover, not really having to strain too much to get to that forehand, hits the pass down the line.
Blake has been involved in some exciting matches at the U.S. Open the last couple of years, and I know for American tennis fans, they'd love to see him playing 5 or 6 of these in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Obviously, probably the most memorable was the match a couple of years ago, the 5-set, 7-6 in the 5th set, lost against Andre Agassi.
And when Agassi kept saying, "I'm not done yet," and Blake kept saying, "Well, I'm not either."
That's right.
And the crowd was feeding off that. Wow, that was scintillating stuff.
Reduce error by Blake. Again, just not being aggressive enough. I don't understand why he hasn't tried to take a few more chances and run around and hit that big forehand. It's not like Russell has a huge second serve.
First serve.
But back to that Agassi-Blake match. Russell there doing a good job of going behind Blake.
40-30.
You know, that's always a great play against guys that are really quick, that tend to run to the open court. Blake not able to adjust and move back for it. Game point here for Russell. We take a 4-3 lead.
Russell's had his serve broken twice. Blake once. Oh! That's not supposed to happen.
No, just again. A little slow getting up there and just a little too nonchalant. At least he can smile about it, as James does too. James knows that he dodged a bullet. Let's see if he can capitalize here and get the break.
So Russell has to regroup now at deuce. Russell's had only 3 aces in the match. None in this set. And that flew way long.
Blake there trying to buy himself some time to get back in position, getting the ball up a little bit higher. But unfortunately, a little late getting there and not able to control that shot.
So advantage Russell. Russell holds for 4-3 in the third. James Blake with a 2-set lead, but down 3-4.
Blake leads by 2 sets to love.
As Michael Russell has to be a little bit frustrated. Down 2 sets, yet hanging in just about every game.
Yeah, and obviously probably a little frustrated from the standpoint as he feels like he could probably be at a set apiece right now after having those 2 set points in the first set.
Went to a tiebreak. He led 6-4 after trailing 4-1, did Michael Russell. And James Blake rallied and had the last 4 points of that tiebreak.
Again, Blake putting the pressure on Russell to come up with the passing shot. Backhand just goes wide.
Ace number 11 for Blake, and 4 of those have come in the 3rd set.
That one at 123. Blake's fastest serve today at 131 miles an hour. And James here just, again, playing some loose points. He's got to be careful not to let Mike back in this match. With a late out call.
Russell was born in Detroit, Michigan, now lives in Florida. Blake,
40-30.
born in New York, lived in Fairfield, Connecticut, just north of here for about a decade. Now makes his home in Florida.
In Tampa, I believe.
Still sharing an apartment with his brother. I'd like to see that. That must be that's more than a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, I'd think.
Yeah, it's not an apartment anymore. It's a house. And I think a pretty big one.
A residence.
Yes, yes.
4 games all. 3rd set.
So we're back even 4 apiece.
Yeah, he lives in a development there in Tampa that I think a couple of his neighbors are a couple of the Yankees, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, have places in there.
So you've been to the house?
I actually haven't been there, but I've heard. I've heard. And and Marty Fish lives in there as well.
So surrounded by some athletes.
Yes.
I wonder if they have any good golf games down there.
Yeah, I think they do.
I don't think Jeter's a golfer, though.
Yeah.
I know Andy Pettit is and Roger Clemens. I haven't seen Jeter on a golf course, though.
No.
I know Marty Fish is a big-time golfer.
Very good.
He's very good. In fact, he could have pursued that professionally, right? And then Marty decided to chase the tennis ball.
Yeah.
Second serve. Big forehand from James Blake.
Russell just not doing enough with the ball there, leaving it in the middle of the court. Do that not only against James Blake, but any of these guys out here, you're going to pay.
40 winners now for Blake. First serve percentage this set down to 52% for Michael Russell. And a double fault.
15-30.
That's his 4th of the match, 2nd this set.
15-30 now. A lot of pressure on Russell. Drops his serve here. He's in danger of bowing out. Blake a chance to serve for the match.
And 3 straight misses off his serve. caught the line. That one will not.
Great court coverage by both players. Going side to side there.
The 30-all.
Well, Russell's certainly not giving up.
No, that's not in his vocabulary.
Things look bleak.
They showed the J block again.
Russell's got some support too. Big serve.
120-mile-an-hour first serve. To the Blake backhand. Gives Russell game point.
And he fires off an ace. So Russell, fifth ace of the match, holds, leads 5-4 in the third. John Isner, a kid from Greensboro, North Carolina, kind of an impressive physical guy.
Oh yeah, he's
6 foot 900.
Yeah,
he's a big man.
Yeah, he is. And yeah, I think it's great for Donald. Obviously, last week winning his first ATP Tour match, his first round match in New Haven against Amir Delic, losing a tough 7-5 in the third set match against Nikolai Davydenko. So he's in the second round here after winning his first round yesterday. And then there's Sam Querrey, another young American who's had some successes up to around 60 in the world. So, we have some young up-and-coming guys. I think that if they continue to improve at the rate they're going, I think we're going to be all right.
I think that's some of what you like to see in the opening couple of days of a tournament like this, just to get people excited in the American tennis public, of course. Big ace there by James. That's number 12. That one just wide. Crowd groaning.
Yeah, Russell running around that backhand, way around it, trying to hit that big forehand, pull it inside in, just clipping the tape. As we look here, good inside out forehand, and then tried to pull the trigger. Get that Blake. Russell with the overhead, puts it away. And Blake here really needs to focus, try and win this third set because he doesn't want to stay out there any longer. Like I said earlier, you can't win a Grand Slam in the first week, but you can lose it in the first week if you spend too much time out on that court.
Well, we're almost 2.5 hours into it and still haven't finished the third set. So James Blake with a chance here to even this set at 5 apiece.
Good serve into the Russell body.
And that forehand just a little too much for Michael Russell. So 5-all in the third.
You hear the J block chanting break time.
I'll tell you, they make a lot of noise in a stadium of this size.
They do.
You can hear exactly what they're saying.
Yes, you can. I know last week in New Haven, a couple of James's opponents were a little upset. They definitely bring him a home court advantage.
Well, they also entertain the fans in the stands too.
Yeah, and the players sometimes too with some of the things they say.
Sometimes you need a little mental break. You hear something out of the stands. Russell trying to hold here. Get to 6-5. Russell's there. But he couldn't get there.
Yeah, he's a little upset because he felt that the linesman there was in his way, or at least the ball. Oh, he tripped over. That's what it is. He tripped over the. He probably would have got to that if he didn't trip over the sign back there. The polo sign. There used to be boxes back there. Now they're just, I guess, little fronts.
Man, Russell making Blake work, and he's equal to the task.
And Blake's pumped up. Great get there.
He spins 360.
But then Russell right back into the middle of the court. Blake had the easy shot into the open court.
So a chance here. 15-30.
Good 1-2 punch there. The big serve up the tee. Stepped in, took the short forehand, drove it up the line.
Well, after that second set, bit of a letdown following the tiebreak. The intensity picking up here.
Yes, definitely.
And Russell unloads a big hit, his fifth ace.
Well, these are where those, as we see Russell ace up the tee, these are where those, one or two points that we talk about that decide the set happen. Right now, 37 points for Russell this set, 36 for Blake. So, again, this is where the set's going to be decided.
And Russell holds, leads 6-5, trails 2 sets on Arthur Ashe Stadium in the first round of the U.S. Open.
Third set. Blake leads by 2-0.
And James Blake to serve, trailing 5-6. We're 2.5 hours into it. And not yet 3 sets in the books. So Blake has scored 7 more points in the 3 sets than his opponent, Michael Russell. Back at Ashe Stadium, James Blake serving to force a tiebreak, and a backhand down the line by Michael Russell has the first point of the game.
See here, as we see Russell stretched out there, able to get that ball low, force Blake to volley up, enabling Russell to hit the down the line pass.
The big forehand into the corner sets up the overhead, 15 all.
And that was a smart play by Russell that point before. A lot of times guys, when they're not in good position, try and hit a passing shot from there, very low percentage. He did a good job of just getting that ball below the level of the net, forcing Blake to volley up, giving himself another chance to pass.
30-15.
Blake with another good serve, coming in, taking that ball out of the air. 30-15. 2 points from the tiebreak.
And ace number 13. He's at 6 in this third set alone. That first set could have gone either way. An official review helping James Blake. Wow, Russell just stepped into that.
40-30.
Yeah, anticipated that wide serve. Blake's done that a few times, trying to obviously stay away from that backhand. This time Russell looking for it. See if he tries to put a little pressure on this second serve. He tried.
Game,
Blake came up with a pretty deep second serve.
And Russell
6 games all.
upset there.
Tiebreak.
So the second tiebreak of this match coming up.
One additional challenge for the tiebreak.
Showing his frustration, realizing it was a missed opportunity. He's got to forget about that.
Russell's tiebreak record this year, 12-21, including the first set tiebreak loss. Blake 88-73.
Oh.
1-0.
Those are career records.
Not a good way to start off the tiebreaker.
This year, Blake 18-10, as you see there. Russell 4-4.
Oh, that was close.
Late call there. No challenge though. Russell has a couple of 3 challenges.
Yeah.
Blake has 2 in his side.
Left. First serve.
I thought he'd maybe take a challenge there.
Blake knew that was a mistake when it left the racket. Wind picking up as the clouds move back in. Big forehand on the rush by Michael Russell.
Yeah, there Blake trying to step in here and take that ball earlier. A little late though, and then left himself in a vulnerable position. Russell stepped in and drilled it up the line. Blake never able to recover, get back in position.
40 winners by Russell.
Left. First serve.
First serve percentage down to 51% in this set for Michael Russell.
I think he's 0 for 3 so far in the tiebreaker.
And that's wide.
3-2.
So Russell has the lead in the tiebreaker. This entire match has felt like it's been hanging in the balance, even though Blake leads 2 sets to love.
Yeah, nobody's really been able to take total control, really keep momentum going in their favor.
Oh, Russell's big forehand just inside the line. 4-2. He leads.
And good deep return. Blake just trying to play neutral tennis there, but Russell doing a good job stepping around and hitting the big forehand. Great footwork. Played into that ball with the fist pump. So Russell with the mini break, up 4-2. As the J block trying to get James pumped up.
Now a second serve. Blake's first serve percentages stayed about the same. He's 71% for this set. Russell
4-3.
can't capitalize.
Russell.
Looking to be aggressive, but still he's got to try and make him play there. Still not finding that first serve in the tiebreaker. 0 for 4. Blake there doing a great job of buying himself some time. You know, it's one thing that James never used to do. He's actually doing a bit more of now. Out of position, played that forehand up high to the Russell backhand. Russell looking to take time away. The unforced error. James was just trying to neutralize there. He ends up winning the point off of that shot. 4-all.
Blake guessed right.
And that's the play I was talking about from that first set. Same thing, but you know, he's got to be ready to volley there. I mean, he had a volley, he put it into the backhand. James guessed right, but then he just didn't look ready to volley. Ball on him quickly, exactly.
Thank you.
Thomas getting pumped up, saying 2 more points. Just hold your serve here. And there's one.
6-4. Blake.
So Blake needs 1 now. A couple of match points here to wrap up a straight set win, which has been anything but easy.
Please.
And the huge serve wraps it up.
Blake. 3 sets to love. 7-6. 6-3.
It was a grinding
7-6.
2 hours and 41 minutes for James Blake, but he survived 7-6, 6-3, 7-6 to move into the second round at the US Open in 2007.